During the 1700s, France had an onslaught of events of which made up the French Revolution.
It first started with the French society having divided into wealth communities in which consisted of 3 estates.
The first estate was the Catholic clergy, followed by the second estate, which was made up of nobility, and the third estate, which made up 97% of the French people, who were peasants and artisans.
While First Estate and Second Estate members had privileges such as carrying weapons, not paying taxes, and high positions in government, the Third Estate members did not have these privileges, but rather had to pay taxes in which supported members of the First and Second Estate.
King Louis XVI then called together the 3 estates to establish financial stability.
The National Assembly was then created from the Third Estates because they wanted to discuss among themselves rather than being outvoted by the other 2 estates. By becoming their own group, they became an overwhelming population in which they had more hearsay, which led to them equalizing human rights.
The National Assembly then created a constitution which included freedom of speech, press, and religion, and protected against arbitrary arrest and punishment. But alas, the king did not want to reform to these rules, but rather still believed God had given him the right to rule them.
The king was being so absurd with his form of ruling that the National Assembly soon wanted change and to rid of him and his kingship. The king then tried to flee France, but unfortunately for him was caught and then later executed.
The French army won many battles, but in the end the monarchs did not surrender, but instead the troops unfortunately had to flee.
The Jacobins then took control of the convention and the mountain, and with that power set out to crush all opposition at any cost, which then became known as the Reign of Terror. They targeted past royalty, innocent people, and commoners.
As a quote from the book, after Robespierre's fall, the convention briefly carried on as France's government. In 1795 it wrote a new constitution. Universal manhood suffrage was ended, and only citizens who owned property could vote. This constitution, in effect, brought the government under the control of the wealthy middle class. The constitution also set up an executive council of 5 men called directors. The Directory, as the council was called, ruled with a 2-house legislature.
Napoleon Bonaparte soon joined the Directory and possessed a great leadership. Because of that, many people looked to him for answers.
After Napoleon showed great effort and leadership, he then heard of France's political problem and decided to take quick power from the Directory.
After Napoleon became emperor, he focused on building an empire which led to conquering foreign lands in Europe. This continued until 1814.
Eventually, Napoleon's empire fell because of the balance of power being disrupted. The main powers of the time wanted to restore Europe to the way it was by causing Napoleon's downfall.
Because of the disrupted balance of power, the Congress of Vienna was determined to restore the political and social systems.
The Congress of Vienna started with reinstating monarchs to their previous ruling.
Oh, I am just so happy to have my crown back. Yes, finally, this is how it was supposed to be. Yes, thank you so much, my royal kingdom. The Congress of Vienna also restored the French boundaries to what it was before the French Revolution. It was guided by these 3 principles: compensation, legitimacy, and the balance of power.
In the end, the concert of Europe finally maintained the balance of power into which the French Revolution finally ended. Yet the nationalistic spirit fostered by the French Revolution would not die in Europe.
Awesome sauce! And hey, Mr. Bowman, you know you want to give us an A on this project because our project was really cool and the video was very interesting, right?